Let's bring in ABC News investigative reporter Olivia Rubin and former federal prosecutor Neama Rahmani for more. Neama, Trump's attorneys basically challenging prosecutors to try to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Trump believed his claims of a stolen election were false. How hard is that element of this case going to be for the special counsel to prove what Trump believed at that time?
Diane, that's the hardest part of the case for special counsel Jack Smith, to get inside Trump's head. That's why so much of the indictment is spent on evidence of Trump's knowledge and intent, what Trump said, but more importantly, what was said to him by folks in his inner circle, people that he appointed to cabinet level positions, his own lawyers, and other Republicans throughout the country. Because without knowledge and intent that Trump knew what he was doing was a lie and that he intended to overthrow the election, he's going to be acquitted in this most recent indictment.
So what happens if they can't prove that part of it? Does the prosecution still have a case?
They don't, because most criminal statutes do require some sort of knowledge or intent, mens rea, or the criminal mind. You know, this is different from the documents case, because there, Trump has admitted that he knew the documents were classified and he intended to withhold them. And obviously, people that are innocent don't ask their employees to destroy video evidence. But this case is going to be a little bit more difficult, because Trump, if he truly believed that he was legitimately auditing the election results or that he was following his attorney's advice, he has a defense in this particular case that he doesn't have in the documents case. Of course, Washington, D.C. is a much more favorable venue for the special prosecutor in terms of the jury pool, and he has a much better judge in Judge Chutkan.
Now, Olivia, how is former President Trump responding? What are you hearing about what's going on in his inner circle right now?
Well, first and foremost, Diane, all eyes right now are on tomorrow. The former president has to make his way to Washington, D.C., and he has to appear before a judge for the third time. So I think a lot of the planning right now is on, preparing him. That's mentally and physically. He's been at Bedminster. He's got to make his way to Washington, D.C. And I would just point out, I have been inside of the courthouse for both of the prior two arraignments of the former president. It is remarkably difficult to get him there. It's really hard to put into words what it takes to get ready for a day like tomorrow. And then once he's actually there, it's a remarkably sort of sullen and, heavy day that he and the prosecutors also have to undergo. So that's step number one right there. And then I think also, his team is focused, much like we are, reading through the indictment, looking for who's in there. There are 6 co-conspirators that were pointed out in the indictment. Who are they? Did they talk to prosecutors? That's a lot of what goes on. So it's not unlike what you and I and the entire team here at ABC have been doing and going through that indictment page by page, figuring out what's in there, who spoke, and what else could come.
Neama, the House January 6th committee had recommended Trump be charged with inciting or assisting an insurrection. Any thoughts on why the special counsel isn't pursuing that charge? And do you think we could see more charges come through in this case?
I think we may well see more charges, particularly against those co-conspirators. And even though they weren't named, we know that they're Rudy Giuliani, Johnny Smith, Sidney Powell, Kenneth Chesebro, Jeffrey Clark. It's going to be interesting to see if they cooperate or are already cooperating or flipped against the former president, or they're going to end up wrapped up in indictment like Walt Nauta or Carlos de Oliveira. With respect to insurrection, Jack Smith has taken a very conservative approach in all of the cases. When he filed the documents case there in South Florida, people said, well, why isn't he filing in D.C., a better venue? He didn't want to deal with the change of venue motion. And here, I think the evidence of insurrection is just less strong than the other counts here. He wanted to file and prove what he thought were the most easily provable counts. He didn't want to overextend himself and charge something, even though many of us believe that there is evidence that Trump conspired or participated in that January 6th insurrection. I don't think special counsel Jack Smith is ready yet to file those charges.
All right, Olivia Rubin, Neama Rahmani, thank you both.